Good evening, YouTube. Dutyron back here again with another video. Guys, I am a retired New York City police detective, and I'm going to give you some information tonight in regards to Jeffrey Epstein, his brother, Mark Epstein, and Prince Andrew. The shady dealings that have been going on, the things that have been developing with money, victims, victim shaming, silencing of the victims, etc. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, hit your notification bell, and share out the broadcast. Hello, Once Upon a Crime in the West, first in the building. I'm hoping that everything is good here. I'm in a new setup right now. I'm at a different location than I normally do broadcasts from, but I think everything should be fine. I checked all my speeds and everything should be good on the upload. Good to see you, dot to dot. Thank you for joining. Hello, Cassandra. Hello, Sandra. Frog Push. Great to see you, Millie. Thank you, Mike, for being here. Appreciate you guys coming on in. I'm just gonna get the stream up over here real quick. Give me 2 seconds. This way I could see it. There we go. Bingo. Guys, if you haven't invited your followers on social media, please share it onto Twitter, share it onto Instagram, and put it out onto your social platforms. Facebook is an actual pretty good platform for sharing. I've discovered that in the last couple of days. Facebook is great. Hello, Julie. Nice to see you. Judy, great to see you. Hi, Tracy, Linda. Everybody's hanging out. I'm going to give you guys all a little time to assemble. I was going to just do this as an upload, but I figured a live is better than an upload. So let me get this off the top chat so I could see all the live chat. Tammy, thank you for coming in. Good to see you. Sunny Sandy, nice to have you. Canadian Witches, thank you for joining. Guys, I have a lot of video to show you. I watched the whole entire BBC interview. Prince Andrew is full of shit. He is lying through his teeth about any of his involvement. He is claiming that the picture with him and the Maxwell girl and the underage female is a picture that he's never seen before, and he doesn't know how he got in the picture. His interview with the BBC is the biggest disgrace I've ever seen. I don't know about you guys, but if you didn't see it, you need to go on over to the BBC. You could search it on YouTube and go and check it out. It's a tobacco. His publicist, the Prince's publicist, has quit the position based on him making the decision to do that interview. And he decided to quit for good reason, because he knew if he did that interview, it would be a disgrace. And he made it so much worse. The things that he said and did on that interview, the way he just discounted everything and pushed. When he was asked, why did you go back to stay with Jeffrey Epstein knowing he was a convicted sexual offender, he simply said that I wanted to go back to tell him that I could no longer associate with him. Now, let me ask you guys. You guys all seem to be pretty level-headed people. If I was a drug dealer and you were my friend and I got arrested, or if I was arrested for having sex with underage children, would you feel necessary to travel across the world, go and leave your country and come into the United States just to tell me that we can no longer be friends, male to male? I don't buy that for 1 second. Hello, Paper Angel. Good to see you. Right? I mean, who's going to buy that bag of goods? Like, I'm a convicted sex offender. You're going to come all the way from another country just to you know what I mean? Just to come and say, oh, our relationship is over. It's the biggest sham. And selling that to his people, oh, the people who live in the UK, I feel sorry for them, because that, for me, was the icing on the cake. And I'm going to play just a small snippet of that. I'm going to play just a small snippet of that. And you guys are going to get, you're going to shake your head. You're going to shake your head. Now, listen, we all have to understand something. You know, I am a realist here, and I know listen, I'm not a rich person. I've been around many rich people. I've been around good and bad rich people with attitudes and things of that nature. But all of the rich and famous, they think that they're above everybody. They treat anybody that's below their pay grade like they're peasants. And that goes for law enforcement. That goes for any type of rules, following rules and regulations. These people don't follow rules and regulations. They don't care. So to make statements like this and just go about your daily business is just bizarre in every way. It's bizarre in every way. But it's not surprising. It's not surprising to me, you know? It's not surprising to me because this is what the elite of the world, not just here in America, the elite of the world just feel like they're just levels above everybody and that they could just get away with whatever they want to do because they could throw money at people. And that's what Epstein did. Jeffrey Epstein threw money at people. I feel bad for her, but she seemed like such a control person that I'm surprised that she allowed him to give this interview. Think about it. They interviewed him in Buckingham Palace, and that had to get approved by the Queen. That had to get approved. There's no way that he is going to just conduct that interview on his own, you know? So that had to get approved, and that was approved, and he was doing that interview under the okay of the Queen. So you make your bed, you got to sleep in it, right? And that's what he did. He finished himself off. He finished himself off with his own words. TR Nairi X, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Great to see everybody here tonight. So again, people, this is all revolving around money, and money is the root of all evil. I spoke about that earlier today. Hello, Alex. Good to see you. So at the end of the day, money is the root of all evil, and this is all revolving around money. Prince Andrew comes to New York and spends 4 days at Jeffrey Epstein's lair, spends 4 days in his location in Manhattan after he already was convicted and did 13 months in that bullcrap deal that he got down in Palm County. He went there and spent 4 days. When he was asked about why he spent 4 days there, he said it was convenient for him. Hot Sauce Junkie Tim, good to see you. He simply said it was convenient for me to be there, to stay there. He could have stayed at a 5-star hotel. He could have stayed anywhere. Prince Andrew went and stayed at a convicted pedophile's location, knowingly and willingly. In law enforcement, that's guilt 100%. When you knowingly and willingly do something, then you are guilty in my eyes. Paul Peck Drywall, thank you for joining. Great to see you, Paul. Thank you for coming in. So this fund, this $560 or $580 million fund, is going to be administered by Kenneth Feinberg. Now, Kenneth Feinberg was appointed by the Attorney General John Ashcroft to administer the Victims' Compensation Fund for 9/11, which I am a 9/11 World Trade Center responder. This Kenneth Feinberg is going to be in charge of administering the fund that's going to disperse to any of the victims who agree to participate in the fund's terms. Now, the fund is Jeffrey Epstein's assets, all of his money. It's almost $600 million. But the claimants, the people who make claims, the victims here, have to sign a waiver stating that they won't speak about it anymore, that they won't make implications of anybody else. That's hogwash. That is bullcrap to the 10th degree. I can't even wrap my head around it. You know, you're basically going to have to sign away your right to actually tell your story, to actually have them come out and talk about what this vicious, savage beast did to them over a course of years. Now, guys, there's people that talk and people that say, well, these girls kept going back and kept coming back for more. That is despicable to even say that. They were lured in by money. They were lured in by his vast amount of money, and they kept coming back because he was enticing them with money, something that they didn't have, and then they got bit by the money bug. You know, these were people who were, some of them weren't legal citizens of the United States. He promised them to put them in a school and get them modeling careers. He even set up Jeffrey Epstein set up a fake company to give these girls the intent, to show them his intention to help them. I mean, I could go on and on. I don't want to really go off track here, so I'm not going to go into that. But at the end of the day, folks, this is how intricate and how twisted his network was with all of his people. Maxwell included was one of the big contributors to luring in these girls and recruiting them. And she's running free. She's out there free as a bird doing her thing. And to me, that's a travesty of justice. I don't know how you guys feel about Ghislaine or whatever the frick her first name is, Maxwell. She's running around for a free bird. Free bird. Thanks for sharing, Ron. Greetings. Welcome in Joshua H. That's my good friend, my website creator, Joshua H. Everyone give him a warm welcome. Subscribe to his channel. Go and follow him. Joey Brooklyn, Hot Sauce Junkie, and all the great ones that are in here right now. I'm going to share. I'm going to share it. I'm going to put a community post up, and then we're going to go into some of this video that I put aside for you guys. I want you guys to watch a couple of short clips. I can't show you the full BBC article because it's an hour long, and I don't want to waste a whole live on an hour of showing you this lying sack of crap, Prince Andrew. We're going to just show little bits and pieces. Dot to dot, thank you. Cindy P, thank you for coming in. Mahid, salam, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Paper Angel, for putting out the links. Great to see you. What a pleasant surprise to have you in here. Thank you, Lenny. Let me just do this public post. Talk amongst yourselves. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button, hit your notification bell, and share out onto your social. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. Guys, I got a little late start. I was supposed to do this at 9 p.m., but I had some company come over. You know when company just comes over uninvited? Does anybody have that happen to them where company just shows up? Well, some company came over uninvited, and my house is an open door. So everyone, you know, you can always show up here at Dutyron's door and have a welcome, have a little bit of a welcoming committee. So I had a little company. I couldn't throw them out the door. So that's what set me back a little bit here, guys. All right, I'm done. I'm done with the sharing. All right. So again, his brother is a multi-millionaire. I don't think Jeffrey Epstein's brother Mark is a billionaire, but I think he is a millionaire from what I read about him. He is a real estate tycoon. He's got some properties, and he is based right here in New York. Inquiring minds want to know. Good to see you from the mountains of East Tennessee. So Jeffrey Epstein's brother is a multimillionaire. Tracy, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. A multimillionaire. He is based here in New York, and he, in his own words to the New York Post and different outlets, said that he hasn't had any conversation with his brother in multiple years prior to this all going down. They were not close by any means. He was a billionaire, the brother, Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you so much for community tabbing it, Hot Sauce Junkie Tim. Mark Epstein is his own millionaire. He didn't need his brother's money. But it's funny, now that his brother is gone, all of a sudden he's this good brother and he wants to step up and have investigations done and have lots of different things done. I'll tell you why he wants that done. It's about money. It's all about money. Don't forget, with rich, very wealthy people, they don't care who you are. They don't care who you are. They'll step right over you. If you're laying in the street and you need help and a millionaire or a billionaire walks by, don't expect that person to help you. I'm not saying all wouldn't help, but 9 times out of 10, those people will step over you and they will say, let somebody else lower than me handle that. And it's sad, but it's true. And I'm not afraid to say it because I know that to be true. Tracy, thank you so much for the super chat. I missed one. MJ McCrae, thank you for the super chat. Welcome in. Thank you, Tracy, for your generosity. Thank you for the super love. Much love and respect to you. Thank you for all of the support with the Patreon and all the different various ways that you can support this channel without going into your pocket, by shopping on my Amazon affiliate link and by other means, by watching the video in full, by watching the ads, let the ads roll without clicking off of them. There's so many different ways that you could support your favorite content creators. So I encourage everybody to do that. It's definitely all about the Benjamins. There's no doubt about it. So, you know, I've been around millionaires, I've been around billionaires with my security business, with the police department, and they basically, you know, they're not living life the way we are, and everything is done for them. Everything is done. They make a phone call or they make a text, and it's done. So Jeffrey Epstein was the same exact way. He did not have any remorse or any feelings for remorseful type feelings for any of his victims, because they were part of his, I hate to even use the word, but they were like his sex slaves. And that's all that's all they were to him, and that's all he saw them for. Not as human beings. He saw them as sexual gratification partners, and he didn't care about their age, and he didn't care about anything else, and he didn't care what their feelings were. He didn't care about the long-term effects on these people, and he just went about his business. And it's just shocking. For 2 or more decades, he went on this terror reign without anybody saying shit. Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. Not one person said anything, guys. So, unbelievable, unbelievable. You know, but now his brother is coming forward. Thank you for shopping, Meg. I know you do a lot of shopping on my Amazon affiliate link. Hi, Gail. Good to see you. ... His brother is the beneficiary, but he's not getting any of the money. His brother's not going to get any of the money. The money is going to go, and it already is going to be going, pending legal approval, to a fund. It's going to a fund. Good to see you, my retired Irish detective. That's my good friend down south. I worked with him in the Housing Bureau, and I also call him a brother from another mother. So everybody give retired Irish detective a warm welcome and say hello to my good friend down there, living the dream in Florida. So welcome in again, my brother. Good to see you. So I'm going to play a couple of clips for you guys. Talk amongst yourselves while this is playing. The first one is going to be a clip from the interview with Prince Andrew. Listen up. Listen to what he says and his body language. You'll see really quickly that he doesn't give two flying craps about anything that's going on. This is not affecting him in any way whatsoever. And, you know, you'll see it's evident from when he talks. So let's watch just a little bit of that and then a couple of news stories. So I'm going to click off of this right now.
The big headline from overseas: royal experts are describing that interview with Prince Andrew as excruciating and an unmitigated disaster.
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming? He was a sex
Let me know if the volume's good.
I'm sorry, I'm being polite, in the sense that he was a sex offender.
Prince Andrew is facing widespread criticism following his highly anticipated sit-down with the BBC. The prince spoke out for the first time about his friendship with the accused sex trafficker.
I'm being polite.
Let me put that back for you guys.
He's a sex offender.
Prince Andrew is facing widespread criticism following his highly anticipated sit-down with the BBC. The prince spoke out for the first time about his friendship with the accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his alleged relations with one of his teenage accusers. NBC's Morgan Chesky has been following this details and the fallout from all of this. He joins me now from London. And Morgan, the interview seems to have raised more questions instead of answering them.
Yeah, Kendison certainly has, and the fallout has been swift and really anything but subtle. In fact, the only person at this point, from what we're gathering within the British media and from the fallout that we've seen, is that the only person who thought this was a good idea to go on TV for about an hour may have been the prince himself. We're hearing reports that the prince's own PR spokesman has resigned as of several weeks ago because he was unable to keep the prince from taking part in that hour-long interview with the BBC. Now, the BBC says on their part they had been efforting this interview for almost a year. And then following Epstein's August death is when they really pressed the prince for that sit-down. It took place in Buckingham Palace, and important to note that that would not have happened had not the Queen given some sort of consent for that to take place. And one of the main things that a lot of people are talking about today is a photo that was brought up in that interview last night of the prince and his accuser, Virginia Giuffre. And when asked about it, the prince denied that was him in the photo, and we have a picture of it.
All right, I had to pause that. I wanted to pause that for you. Hold on. So this picture is the picture he is denying ever having any knowledge of. He's denying any... He's basically saying that somebody photoshopped him in on that picture and that's the Maxwell girl, Ghislaine Maxwell. He's basically outright denying ever being anywhere near and doesn't know anything about this photo. His hand is, I don't care what the conspiracy theory people say, that's not his hand, that it's, you know, he's not a hugger, he's not this, he's not that. It's ridiculous. And this is what makes it even more absurd, is that the victim shaming continues. This guy is now downplaying all of his relations and contacts with Jeffrey Epstein. It is despicable. It's despicable, guys. I'm sorry I had to pause it. I want you guys to take a good look at this. This is what came up in that BBC interview. Loves NY, thank you for joining. This is disgusting, and it should be scrutinized 100%.
Here, and this is allegedly that 17-year-old girl, Virginia Giuffre, who has now spoken out and accused the prince of having sex with her, and she met him through Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly. And I want you to hear what the prince had to say when asked about it point blank in this interview last night.
You've seen the photo?
I've seen the photograph.
How do you explain that?
I can't.
Here we go.
Because I have absolutely no memory of that photograph ever being taken.
And you can hear the prince denying that is himself in the photo. He claimed that it could potentially be doctored, and then he went on to say that he has no recollection of even meeting that woman, Virginia Giuffre. Now, Kenneth, a lot of people have said that they're calling on the prince to take a sworn oath, saying that this interview doesn't carry a lot of weight. The prince, responding to that, said that if he was legally advised to give a sworn statement, he would be, quote, legally bound to do so. Candace?
It was quite an interview indeed. Morgan Chesky from London, thank you. A powerful message after...
Let me see. I got a couple more things here for you to see. This is from CNN. I don't even like using CNN, but it's funny. Hold on a second. Let me pause this. I'm going to pause this for a second. Hello, Megan. Good to see you. Sun City Scratchers, thanks for joining. Linny, he didn't say that. He said he doesn't remember the photo being taken. Not the same as isn't him. I read news, an actual report, not that in that video. I read in a report from a reporter that in the past, he said that he does not have any recollection of the photo, and that the word from Buckingham Palace is that that hand was not his and it was photoshopped. This is all in the past. So, denial seems to be 1,000% coming out of there. 1,000% denial. So, what I wanted to say is that, it's funny how all of the news outlets have been silenced. And I want to talk about that because that is a real thing. It is hard to find good reporting on this. And some of the videos and some of the previous videos that were speaking about Jeffrey Epstein are now not available, is not available at all. So it's funny how this part of the story is being suppressed by the news, by the media, which is unbelievable. Soul for Music 79, good to see you. Aaron Leahy, thank you for joining. All right, here we go. Yeah, he was very young in that photo. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right.
Recollection of ever meeting this lady? None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
Amazing.
That once he had been convicted,
You stayed with her?
I stayed with him, and that's the bit that as it were, I kick myself for on a daily basis, because it was not something that was becoming of a member of the royal family.
So that's the short story right there. The short of it, the long of it, and the short of it is that it's all bullcrap.
Video shows
and basically just denying any involvement. The trip here to New York after he was a convicted sex offender, that says it all. There should be no more sticking points or no more arguing points for anybody. I'm gonna play you a clip about the Victim Compensation Fund. This is an article about the Epstein estate, compensation for the victims. Listen carefully to this, because this is shocking in itself, because it speaks about how there's stipulations for them, and that they need to remain quiet after being paid, basically, and that in itself is pretty disgusting. So let me set that up for you guys. Hold on. All right, here we go. I'll spare us all of the advertising here. I got to let the ads run. Thank you, Lisa111, for the...
Of convicted sex offender
Super
Jeffrey
chat.
Epstein may
Thank
get
you.
some money from his estate. Not that easy, maybe not that fast, but Fox News correspondent Brian Yanis has the details that we know. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Neil. Well, look, lawyers representing Jeffrey Epstein's estate worth more than $577 million know that it will be the target of dozens of lawsuits from Epstein's alleged sexual abuse victims who are seeking financial compensation for their suffering. So rather than be bogged down in years of litigation, the estate executors are proactively asking the court in the U.S. Virgin Islands for permission to establish a victims' compensation fund dedicated to paying Epstein accusers. settling their claims out of court in an expedited and confidential way. Now, the proposed compensation program would start accepting claims via a website about 90 days after the court gives its approval. The estate promises to design the compensation fund with the help of Epstein's accusers and their attorneys. Now, the fund would not be operated by the estate, but rather by 3 independent claims administration experts, including Kenneth Feinberg.
Okay, this guy, Kenneth Feinberg, he is the, this is the guy who I spoke about that is now the administrator of the Victims' Compensation Fund for 9/11 World Trade Center first responders. He's a fair and impartial fund administrator. He is charged right now with administering billions and billions of dollars to first responders and anybody that was down at the World Trade Center during 9/11 and anyone who has become sick. So this is one of the 3, I think they said 3 fund administrators. He is, this is a guy who is going to, if it's approved. Now, it looks like a bulk of Epstein's estate and money is in the U.S. Virgin Islands. That people are going to ask questions. Why are they doing it in the U.S. Virgin Islands? Because I think a bulk of his money was there in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So let me let this continue. I agree, Aaron.
Who developed the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund, which pays out billions to victims who have become sick or died as a result of 9/11 related illnesses or exposure. Feinberg also helped distribute funds for Catholic Church abuse victims. Now, at least one accuser, Jennifer Rose, said she will not participate in the fund and she will provide the estate, but rather after the court gives its program.
I'm just putting it back because I
claims
think
via
we missed some of
website
the
about
points here.
90 days after the court gives its approval. The estate promises to design the compensation fund with the help of Epstein's accusers and their attorneys. Now, the fund would not be operated by the estate, but rather by 3 independent claims administration experts, including Kenneth Feinberg, who developed the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund, which pays out billions to victims who have become sick or died as a result of 9/11 related illnesses or exposure. Feinberg also helped distribute funds for Catholic Church abuse victims. Now, at least one accuser, Jennifer Rose, said she will not participate in the fund and she will pursue litigation instead. Now, attorney Lisa Bloom, who represents 5 Epstein accusers, she says most of her clients support the claims fund, but each woman is going to have to decide individually if they will participate.
Okay, so
I think I found my dream car. She can stay with you to finish her senior year.
So much for the empty nest. Things will be tight, but we can make this work.
That's great.
okay, sorry about that, guys. So it looks like some of the victims are willing to. Feinberg is good. He's good because he's fair and impartial. Cruz Boston, thank you for joining. So he's a fair and impartial. He's got no vested interest in any of this stuff. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Again, this has to be approved by the courts, and then 90 days after that, they would set up a website where victims would have to prove, their case, and then awards would be given out to those victims based on their what they claim are their injuries or pain and suffering. So there's going to have to be a process that they have to prove how much counseling they've gone through, how much this has affected them, and things of that nature. So that's how it's going to be. Going forward. Cruz Boston, great to see you. Great to see you, my friend. I hope all's well. So again, this is not going to be a process that's quick, but it looks like a few, at least 5 of the victims have already agreed has already agreed to take this offer. One of the victims has come forward and said no, that she will not accept this offer, because inside that offer is verbiage that says that, you know, they have to now remain silent and not do any interviews and not talk about it. It's basically hush money. Take a large sum of money and don't ever talk about it again. And they're going to have to sign legal documents stating that they won't. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. But, you know, everybody has different financial issues, and people might jump on this just to get the money, you know, and that's going to be sad in itself. But again, we're not the victims. We are just outsiders looking in. So who are we to say what they should and shouldn't do, you know? So again, that's how I look at it. But his brother being, you know, I'm going to pull up a New York Post article. Let me just see what the rest of this is here. Hold on a second.
Now. Grandpa, what about your dream car?
This is my dream.
Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, Linda. I just want to see if there's anything additional here. Is this the same thing we just saw?
Money from his estate. Not that easy. Maybe not that fast. But Fox News correspondent Brian Yanis has the details that we know. Hey,
we
Brian.
just saw this.
Hey, Neil.
Okay.
Well, look, lawyers
Just a
representing
replay.
Jeffrey Epstein's estate.
All right. I'm going to read you. I'm going to read you an article from the New York Post. Okay, this is from his brother. This is from the New York Post online. Basically, the article says Epstein didn't kill himself. Jeffrey Epstein's brother. This is stated from his brother. So, hold on a second. Okay, so again, here's an article from Jeffrey Epstein's brother from November 14th. That was Thursday, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, that was Thursday. So this is a Thursday print. It says, Jeffrey Epstein's brother insists in a new interview that the financier's shocking death behind bars was no suicide, and maintains that the convicted pedophile was innocent of new sex trafficking charges against him. So his brother's saying, basically, my brother was innocent. I could see if he got a life sentence, I could then see him taking his own life and taking himself out, Mark Epstein, 65, told the Miami Herald of his late older brother. But he had a bail hearing coming up. Come on, Mark Epstein, are you kidding me? Mark Epstein is under the impression that his brother would have gotten bail. Does anybody here think that any judge would have given Jeffrey Epstein bail? He already had 2 bail hearings denied. This was a third bail hearing. This is a third bail hearing for Jeffrey Epstein. He was not going to get bail. Okay, Jeffrey Epstein, 66, was found dead of what authorities have ruled a hanging inside his cell at Lower Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center in August. Conspiracy theorists will say he wasn't hung, somebody killed him. I say, in my opinion, nobody killed him. He hung himself because he knew that he was never going to see the light of day. And this is a man who was living in the lap of luxury. He was never going to get out, and he knew that he had no chance of ever seeing the light of day. Him taking his own life makes a lot of sense for someone that lived in a lap of luxury as he did. Remember, he used to order up young little girls to come to his house and have sex with them and do really nasty things with them every day of his breathing time on this planet. This guy was doing this for decades and decades and decades. We don't know how long this has gone on. We don't know how this developed into such a big thing. If it started out in a small way and he's been doing this his whole entire life. This was a predator. This is a child predator. So before you start making statements of, oh, he was killed, and listen, one less person like this on the face of the earth we are living in a better place. So Jeffrey Epstein, 66, was found dead of what authorities have ruled a hanging inside his cell at the Lower Manhattan Metropolitan Correctional Center in August. The deep-pocketed hedge funder who in 2008 copped a sweetheart deal in Florida for soliciting an underage girl. Soliciting an underage girl. So, here we go. The bottom line here, folks, is this. Jeffrey Epstein, lowest form of life. This is a man who took advantage of underage children. These are not even girls, underage children. Okay? This is a person who did heinous things to so many underage girls. This guy took advantage of children. So I don't care what happened to him. I'm happy that he's no longer living and breathing in my eyes. This is an evil person, and corrupt to the core. The deep-pocketed hedge funder copped a sweetheart plea deal in Florida for soliciting an underage girl for sex, had been arrested the month prior in New York in a massive new trafficking case. He was innocent until proven guilty. You're entitled to bail in America, says Mark Epstein. Here's the quote right here. This is what I'm reading right here. He said, you are entitled to bail in America. That's bullshit. He was not entitled to bail. People who are entitled to bail pose no threat to society, pose no threat of flight. He exhibited both of those behaviors times 30. He was a menace to society, a danger to anybody. Because don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, when he was in jail doing his sweetheart bullshit deal down in Palm County, he was having girls come to the jail, and he was having sex in that correctional facility with underage girls. It's documented that underage girls came to see him in that jail, and he had 12 hours a day to do whatever he wanted, during those 13 months. So he did not turn over a new leaf. He, if anything, he was steamrolling full speed ahead. Okay? He had a bail hearing in 2 days, his brother said. Here's the statement again. Here's the statement again. He was innocent and until proven guilty. You're entitled to bail in America, Mark Epstein told the Herald. He had a bail hearing in 2 days. He was the most recognized person on the planet. Where is he going to run? Where is he going to hide? Well, I say this to you, Mark Epstein. Where's Ghislaine Maxwell? Where is she? She's running and she's hiding. Where's all the rest of these evil people who are working in that whole network of Epstein? Where are all these people? They're all on the hide. Mark Epstein claims that his brother was looking forward to his release and revealing that he was going to hire armed guards to keep an eye on him at his own expense. Epstein maintained that his brother didn't kill himself and hinted that he was killed to keep him quiet. So Jeff Epstein's brother, Mark, is going with the conspiracy theories as well. Despite Jeffrey's prior conviction and new charges against him, Mark Epstein defended his brother as someone whose taste in women approached the line, but didn't stray over it. Let me read that again to you guys. His brother said, Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, said, despite Epstein's prior conviction and the new charges against him, Mark Epstein defended his brother as someone whose taste in women approached the line, but did not stray over it. Is that bullshit? Is that hogwash? This is just 3 days ago. Do I think it was inappropriate for him at age 50 or 60 to be with women who were 18 or 20? Yes, but it certainly wasn't illegal, and it wasn't sex trafficking. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, guys? Listen, all the conspiracy theorists out there, what do you even make? Listen, even if that was true, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. I'm playing the devil's advocate. Even if we didn't think it was him, why do you care so much about some evil piece of garbage like this? And I'm not saying that listen, as a law enforcement professional, I know, and I'm going to say this 100 times over, the New York City Medical Examiner's Office, the New York City Fire Department and EMS, the New York City Police Department are all involved with his death. Do you really, do all of you people who I think are all pretty smart and level-headed, do you all really think that everybody that handled Jeff Epstein's body all were in on a big cover-up? If you think that, then you should probably leave this broadcast, because that's ridiculous. Okay? It would take so many corrupt people to be involved on different levels, from different levels of the government, from the federal, from the state, and the local, for this to be pulled off without one blurb of the body they took out wasn't his ears didn't look right. You know, all of that is ridiculousness. And it's in my opinion, and I could say this with extreme conviction, that did not happen. For that to happen, you would need that many people on board. You would need 50, 60 people from different agencies on board. So, you know, you guys can continue on with your conspiracy theories. If it makes you feel good, go with it. You know, talk about it. You know, there's still people talking about the Las Vegas shooting was done by the government from helicopters, and it wasn't the Paddock psychopath that killed 58 innocent people. You know, I feel sorry for people that think that that's what happened. You guys should seek mental health counseling. So let me read the rest of the article before I stray off any further. I think I've spent enough time with this utter nonsense of the conspiracy theory people. And if you are one of those conspiracy theory people, you should probably leave. You know, you're not going to get anything out of me here. So, anyways, let's move right along. Here's another clip I'd like you guys to see.
Welcome back to Velshi and Rule. We're learning more about accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein's fortune and where it may ultimately end up. According to a will that Epstein signed just 2 days before his death, he was worth nearly $600 million. He's only got one immediate family member, his younger brother, Mark. NBC's Ann Thompson has more.
Hey, Steph and Allie. Jeffrey Epstein's assets have been placed in a trust, and as a result, his brother Mark, who has kept a very low profile throughout this scandal, may not see any of it. But Jeffrey Epstein's alleged victims are already filing suit to make sure they can get a piece of that very big pie.
New pictures of Jeffrey Epstein's younger brother, Mark, in New York City. The photos obtained by DailyMail.com show the 65-year-old in a white shirt and sunglasses walking to the subway from his apartment. Although Jeffrey Epstein named his brother as his single remaining heir in the will he signed just days before his death by suicide in a federal jail, Mark Epstein may not get a cent because his brother's $577 million fortune has been placed in a trust. Mark, 2 years younger than Jeffrey, and his only sibling, is himself a millionaire. He is the owner of a real estate company, Osa Properties,
Hello, Gabriel.
and has been for the past 3 decades. In a 2009 deposition posted online, Mark Epstein admitted under oath he had once flown on his brother's private jet in the late 90s.
Okay, so this is showing you what I talked to you guys about, that Jeffrey Epstein's brother is a millionaire himself. Doesn't need any of his money, but still Millionaires like to get more money. So now all of a sudden he's a brother that's, he hasn't spoken to his brother in years and years, but now he's resurfaced and he wants a piece of the pie. So good to see everybody that's new joining. Thank you so much for coming in. Welcome to all my returning people, and welcome to the new people who happen to be stumbling across the broadcast. Thank you for joining. So let's just finish this. He's talking about Donald Trump here on the plane. So let's go back.
1990s, with Donald Trump before he was president. The president has recently said he has not been friends with Jeffrey Epstein for over and posted online. Mark Epstein admitted and has been for the past 3 decades. In a 2009 deposition posted online, Mark Epstein admitted under oath he had once flown on his brother's private jet in the late 1990s with Donald Trump before he was president. The president has recently said he has not been friends with Jeffrey Epstein for over a decade. NBC News reached out to Mark Epstein for comment and was told by a man who would not identify himself that Mr. Epstein had nothing to say. This morning, at least 3 new lawsuits filed by alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein, identified only as Caitlin Doe, Lisa Doe, and Priscilla Doe, are seeking assets from his estate. The lawsuits allege that a complex web of companies employed disciples to see that Epstein's sexual desires were met, even while serving time in a Florida prison a decade ago. Caitlin Doe also specifically alleges that she was forced to lose her virginity to Epstein, that Epstein arranged for her to marry a woman described as a non-United States citizen and recruiter of females, so that woman could remain in the United States, and that she was forced into engaging in commercial sex acts, the details of which are too graphic and perverted to include in this public pleading.
Now, those new lawsuits don't specify damages.
Okay. All right, folks. So you get to see how, and these are just a few examples of how sick this man was. The bee lady apiary, thank you so much for being in here. Gabrielle, thank you for coming in and joining the live. This is just a small sampling of how many people he has victimized, and the things that are said in these indictments and these complaints, I should say. These complaints are just the tip of the iceberg. There's hundreds of these. There's alleged that he has a log with hundreds, not thousands, but hundreds of underage girls, underage children, a 12-year-old to a 17-year-old, in my eyes, is a child. You know, you might think something different. People might think something different. But for me, that's a child, okay? And he did this to hundreds of underage children. Shame on him. Shame on the people who are involved with him. Prince Andrew is just as bad as him. Just as bad as him. You do not associate with people like this. And I don't care what anybody says. It's literally impossible to hide this. There was dozens upon dozens of people who know about it and that are involved with it or were involved with it. And they said nothing. They said nothing. I want to see the list. I'll tell you, the one thing that I really want to see is the list of higher-ups and politicians and wealthy people who were involved with this guy. I want to see that whole list. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I want to see more than anything, because I want to know who's walking around me, who's walking free after committing such heinous acts, such heinous criminal acts. How many of these bastards are walking around scot-free? I want to know. Those are the things that are troubling to me. Putting aside the flub of the federal government, the state, Palm County down in Florida, and all of the things that were that took place prior to the Southern District, the premier law enforcement agency, coming and swooping down at Teterboro Airport when he came back from Paris, and that's when his life came crashing down on him. But I want to know about these people. I want to know about them. I want them exposed. I want them arrested. All right, let me continue with this.
So we don't know exactly how much money they are seeking, but with an untold number of alleged victims, we expect to see many more lawsuits filed in the coming months. Steph and Allie?
Thank you, Ann Thompson. What a story. All right, we'll continue to cover any developments on that, on the Jeffrey Epstein story.
Well, a top researcher at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is now resigning over the center's apparent link to Jeffrey Epstein. Resigning, that's a big deal. Ethan Zuckerman confirmed in a Medium post that he decided to leave the school's media lab following revelations that the research center and its director took financial donations from the registered sex offender.
Another
in his post,
dirty
Zuckerman writes this: "The work my group does focuses on social justice and on the inclusion of marginalized individuals and points of view. It is hard to do that work with a straight face in a place that violated its own values so clearly in working with Epstein and in that disgusting relationship." It's amazing. The person who resigned is resigning on principle. The Boston Globe first reported this story. It's unclear how much money Epstein actually donated to the center.
We've got California Senator in 2020.
Right. So that's going to conclude what I have here. I just want to see something real quick.
Prince Andrew
I think this is the BBC.
For the first time about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and accusations of sexual abuse, all in a no-holds-barred interview with the BBC. This morning, Prince Andrew breaking his silence about the teenager in this 2001 photo, who says in court papers she was forced by Jeffrey Epstein to have sex with the prince. The prince claiming in an exclusive interview with the BBC he doesn't remember meeting her.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
Virginia Roberts Dufresne, now a 35-year-old mother, says British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her when she was 16, then groomed her to become Epstein's teenage sex slave. In court filings in a defamation case against Maxwell, Dufresne claimed Epstein ordered her to have sex with some of his powerful friends, including, on 3 occasions, Prince Andrew, in London, at Epstein's home in New York, and on his private Caribbean island.
He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it.
But now, the prince addressing his long relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, even after the financier was convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor in 2008 and was a registered sex offender. The prince, seen in this video obtained by the Daily Mail, appearing in the doorway of Epstein's home.
The problem was the fact that once he had been convicted, I stayed with him, and that's the bit that as it were, I kick myself for on a daily basis, because it was not something that was becoming of a member of the royal family, and we try and uphold the highest standards and practices, and I let the side down. Simple as that.
Epstein died of an apparent suicide in jail awaiting trial for child sex trafficking charges. Still, Dufresne and dozens of Epstein's accusers are vowing to get answers.
I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice.
And this is still an active investigation. Prosecutors are looking into whether anyone else participated in or facilitated abuse. As for Ghislaine Maxwell, she has not been charged with any crime and has insisted that all of Dufresne's allegations, including those about Prince Andrew, are false.
It's amazing, even after Epstein's death, these conversations and some of the investigations still moving forward. Fascinating. Thank you, Eva.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos,
All right, so basically, guys, this is the situation at hand. We have... it just never ends. It never ends. And like I said, my main concern is the victims here now, and that's what we should be focusing on. There's no need to focus on what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. I want now, you can't bring him back. He cannot be brought back. We cannot drag him through court anymore. So you have to realize that that's over, right? That's over. Thank you for all the kind comments. I saw B Lady Apiary. I saw Meglo. I just didn't want to talk while the film was going. Katina. I appreciate you guys' support here on this live stream, and this is a very, very, very sensitive matter that we're talking about. I think it's in the hundreds, Rachel. I think how many people are involved in this could be in the hundreds. Hundreds, not thousands, but hundreds. It's a wicked web that he weaved, big time. This was a sex trafficking network that was working underground, silenced because people were scared to speak out of fear of maybe being hurt or being killed. So, this is a very deep layer of corruption on a wealthy, on the wealthy side, on the rich and famous. And this is a very dark, dirty case. This thing is going to be spoken about for many years to come. But what I say, hi Daphne, how are you? What I say is what we need to concentrate on now is having the victims compensated, letting their voices be heard, letting them tell their stories if they want to, and having their day in court and letting them see some of the people who stood by and laughed, basically, who stood by and smoked their cigars and drank their fine liquor and had their way with underage girls sexually. Have these people brought to justice. Now, we don't live in a perfect world, so I don't know if that will ever happen. But as a law enforcement professional, as a retired detective, this is what we live to do, is to bring bad people to justice. And I feel that there's 3 layers to this. There's the victims being compensated, there's the victims being heard, and then there's the criminal justice system going to work and bringing the people to justice that are implicated by these poor victims and who are now in their 30s and 40s. So, those are the 3 things that I concentrate on. That's my takeaway from this, because we can't bring Jeff Epstein back from the dead. He's dead. And I look at it in a positive way. We don't have to house him in a jail. We don't have to give him 3 square meals. We don't have to give him health care. We don't have to give him all the luxuries that he didn't deserve. So I don't condone anybody's demise, but somebody that evil, a rapist, a murderer, a pedophile, I'm not happy that they're living and breathing, because in my eyes, the victims have to know that that person is still around. So, we shall see as the cards unfold. We shall see as these cards unfold. So if you're new here into the broadcast, if you're new into my live stream, please let me know where you're watching from, your city, your state, your country. I'll give you a shout out, and we will give you a warm welcome. So please come on aboard. Let me know where you're watching from, city, state, or country, and I will give you a shout out from the Dutyron channel. But this has been a long live, and I was just going to do an upload, but I'm glad that I went live so we can have a little bit of a conversation. I'll take about 5 minutes of Q&A from everybody here. I'll give it about 5 minutes. Gabrielle says, I'm from Singapore, China. Interesting. there you go. There you go. There's a lot of things that are circulating, but you know, again, I want to see the wheels of justice go into motion, and I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything happen. So it's disconcerting, to say the least. It's disconcerting. Lenny, I wish I had the answer to that question. I wish I had the answer to the question. They may be looking for her, and she may be on the run. I don't think he's hiding anywhere, Gail. I don't think he's hiding anywhere. All right, so not many people watching first time. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscription button down below, hit the notification bell, and share onto all the social media platforms. Even when you watch the replay, you can share the replay out. So don't forget, let the ads run if there are any ads on the broadcast. That helps support my channel. Leave me comments down below. I answer all the comments. I answer the comments. So, again, I focus my attention on the victims at this point, and I hope that the fund, when it is up, when it's up, is going to give compensation to the victims. That's what I hope for. That's what I hope for, guys. Anybody that has any type of questions, I might not be able to answer all the questions, but you know, I feel like we covered a lot here tonight. I feel like we covered a lot here tonight. I know I made a mistake about China, but what do I know about Singapore and overseas over there? I'm in America, so I really don't know. I should know, but I don't. So there goes some of my knowledge of Singapore. I'm just, even the French owner is hiding. Yes, that's true, Giovanna. That is true. That last scene in Beverly Hills, California, I think was a hoax. I'm not really sure. I heard that story was a hoax. Hello, Bossy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining, Bossy. Thank you for coming in. So that's the situation. I think I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I'm going to wrap it up because there's really not a lot more going on in regards to this. It's funny how the media has been silenced on the Epstein case. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that were reported in the past that I went to click on to review, and it was no longer available. So, not surprising, but at the end of the day, that's not good either. That's not good when you have the media being suppressed. That to me is troubling as well, because I could look all around and there's limited articles about what's going on. So it is what it is. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you guys all for positively interacting in the live. I thank you for the comments that you guys leave in the comment section. Make sure you follow and subscribe to all the great channels that are in here. Gail says, I mean, Andrew's involvement in all of this, I believe he was. Absolutely. He is guilty as charged. He is definitely guilty as charged. So, guys, it's great to see you all. Thank you so much for being in here in the live. I look forward to seeing you on my next live stream. I don't know what my next case will be or what I will talk about next, but I do appreciate you guys coming in and positively interacting here. So I hope everyone has a great week. Much love and respect from my house to yours. And again, I thank you guys all for positively interacting with each other. If I've missed your comments, it's not because I purposely missed them. It's just it gets busy. With the chat, it goes pretty fast. So thank you to all who have given super chat. Thank you to my moderators first and foremost, all of my Patreon supporters, the people who send the super chat, the comments, the leaving, the watching of all of the videos and letting the commercials roll. I greatly appreciate you guys doing that. So much love and respect. Thank you, Paul Peck. Everyone go subscribe to Paul Peck Drywall. If you want to learn everything about drywall, that guy is your man. He's got a great YouTube channel, and I highly recommend him. Meg Lowe, too, out in Southern Cal. Go check her out, and all the great ones in here. Thank you, guys. God bless, and good night from New York City. Dutyron, retired NYPD detective, signing off.